Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you had a real conversation with yourself? I'm not talking about the casual thoughts that drift through your mind. No. I'm talking about the kind of conversation that shakes you up, wakes you up, and forces you to see the truth about who you are and where you're going. When you wake up in the morning, the very first thing you do sets the tone for your entire day. That's why it's crucial to speak to yourself in a way that empowers you, lifts you, and pushes you to be better. Imagine this: instead of dragging yourself out of bed, instead of letting that voice in your head remind you of all your worries, you stand tall, look yourself in the mirror, and declare with unwavering conviction, I am strong, I am capable, I am enough. It's not just about saying the words, it's about owning them. Words have power. They can build you up or tear you down. Too many of us start our day by tearing ourselves apart. We replay the mistakes we made yesterday. We focus on the challenges that lie ahead, telling ourselves stories about why we might not be good enough to face them. And before we've even taken our first step, we're carrying the weight of defeat. That's the wrong way to live, my friend. You have to stop that pattern right now. Let me tell you something about that reflection in the mirror. It's more than just an image. That person staring back at you has been through so much. Think about the battles you fought, the struggles you've endured, the moments when you felt like giving up but didn't. You've faced heartbreak, failure, and disappointment, but you're still here, still standing, still fighting. Do you understand what that means? It means you are resilient. It means you have strength within you that others only dream of. And yet, when you look in the mirror, you don't always see it. Why? Because you've been conditioned to focus on what's missing instead of what's there. It's time to change that. When you wake up and tell yourself, I am strong, you're reminding yourself of the truth. You're not just wishing for strength, you're claiming the strength that's already inside you. Think of all the times life tried to break you. Think of all the days you didn't want to get out of bed but did anyway. Every single one of those moments is proof of your strength. You've overcome so much already, and there's nothing in this world you can't handle. But you have to remind yourself of that. You have to own it. And when you say, I am capable, you're pushing back against the doubt that tries to creep in. That doubt doesn't come from you, it comes from the world. From the people who told you you're not good enough, the ones who underestimated you, the ones who didn't see your potential. But let me tell you something, their opinions don't define you. What defines you is what you believe about yourself. And you need to believe with every fiber of your being that you are capable of achieving greatness, because you are. Being capable doesn't mean you'll never fail. It doesn't mean everything will come easy. What it means is that you have the ability to learn, to grow, to adapt, and to overcome. It means that no matter how hard things get, you'll find a way. Because that's who you are. You are a problem solver, a go-getter, a fighter. And every time you remind yourself of that, you silence the voice of doubt and amplify the voice of confidence. And let's not forget the final part, I am enough. This is perhaps the most important declaration of all. Because too many of us go through life feeling like we're not enough, like we have to do more, be more, achieve more just to prove our worth. But let me tell you something, your worth is not up for debate. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need anyone's validation. You are enough exactly as you are, right now, in this moment. When you tell yourself, I am enough, you're setting yourself free. Free from the comparisons, the insecurities, the need to constantly prove yourself to the world. You're giving yourself permission to be proud of who you are, to celebrate your strengths, to embrace your flaws, and to walk through life with confidence. Because being enough doesn't mean you're perfect, it means you're perfectly you. And there's no one else on this planet who can be you better than you can. So every morning before the chaos of the day begins, take a moment to stand in front of that mirror and declare these truths. Say them loudly, boldly, unapologetically, and don't just say them, believe them. Feel the power in your words. Let them sink into your mind and your heart. Because when you start your day with that kind of energy, with that kind of belief in yourself, there's nothing you can't accomplish. You are strong. You are capable. You are enough. And the more you remind yourself of that, the more you'll start to live it. The more you'll start to see the world differently. Challenges won't seem so daunting. Failures won't feel like the end. Because you'll know deep down that no matter what happens, you have what it takes to keep going. You have what it takes to win. Fear, let's talk about it. Fear is that creeping voice in your head that tells you you can't do this, or what if you fail? It's the shadow that looms over you when you're about to take a step into the unknown. It whispers doubts, amplifies risks, and magnifies every possible worst-case scenario. And here's the truth, fear isn't going anywhere. It will show up every time you try to grow, every time you dream bigger, every time you step out of your comfort zone. But fear, as powerful as it seems, doesn't have the authority to control you unless you give it permission. When fear creeps in, don't run from it. Most people spend their lives running, avoiding situations that make them uncomfortable, dodging opportunities because the risks seem too high. But let me tell you something, running from fear only gives it more power. Fear thrives in avoidance. The more you turn your back on it, the more it grows, the more it consumes, and the more it convinces you that it's something to be feared. But what if I told you that fear isn't your enemy? What if I told you that fear is simply a sign that you're about to do something that matters? Think about it. When you feel fear, it's because you care. It's because the stakes are high. It's because you're stepping into something unfamiliar, something that could change your life. Fear isn't there to stop you, it's there to challenge you. It's a test. It's life asking you, how badly do you want this? Are you willing to face me to get it? The first step to overcoming fear is to acknowledge it. Don't suppress it. Don't deny it. Face it head on. When fear shows up, talk to it. Yes, talk to it. Say, I see you, but you don't control me. Recognize that fear is just a feeling, a chemical reaction in your brain designed to protect you. But here's the thing, your brain doesn't know the difference between real danger and imagined danger. It reacts the same way whether you're being chased by a lion or stepping onto a stage to give a speech. Your job is to remind yourself that you're not in danger. You're not being chased by a lion. You're just being asked to grow. And growth is always uncomfortable. It's supposed to be. If it were easy, everyone would do it. But discomfort is where the magic happens. Discomfort is where you stretch, where you learn, where you discover just how powerful you really are. So when fear tries to convince you to back down, respond with courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to act despite it. It's standing tall and saying, yes, I'm afraid, but I'm going to do it anyway. The second step to overcoming fear is to reframe it. Instead of seeing fear as a roadblock, see it as a signal. Fear means you're alive. Fear means you're stepping into something meaningful. And here's a secret, the things that scare you the most are often the things that will grow you the most. That dream you're too afraid to chase, that's the one you need to pursue. That conversation you're avoiding, that's the one you need to have. That leap you're hesitating to take, that's the one that will set you free. Fear isn't there to stop you, it's there to guide you. It's like a compass pointing you toward the areas of your life where you need to grow. But you have to be willing to follow it. You have to be willing to step into the discomfort, to face the uncertainty, to trust that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way, because you are. And let me tell you something else about fear. It's temporary. It feels overwhelming in the moment, but the moment you face it, the moment you step through it, it loses its power. Think about all the times you've been afraid in the past. Remember that thing you were terrified to do? That conversation, that presentation, that decision, you were scared out of your mind, but you did it. And looking back, you realize it wasn't as bad as you thought it would be. That's the thing about fear. It's all bark and no bite. It's a bully that backs down the moment you stand up to it. So the next time fear shows up, don't let it intimidate you. Don't let it control you. Look it in the eye and say, I'm not afraid of you. You're afraid of me because fear is only afraid of one thing, action. The moment you take action, fear has no choice but to shrink. It can't survive in the face of courage. It can't stand up to someone who's determined to move forward, no matter what. You have everything you need to conquer fear. The strength, the courage, the resilience, it's all inside you. Fear might show up, but it doesn't get a vote. It doesn't get to decide your future. You do. And when you choose to act despite fear, when you choose to push through it, you're not just conquering fear, you're becoming unstoppable. Fear may knock on your door, but you hold the keys. And the choice is always yours. Let's talk about doubt, that subtle yet persistent voice in your head that asks, what if you're not good enough? Doubt is sneaky. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It plants seeds of uncertainty that grow into barriers between you and the life you want. But here's the truth. Doubt is not fact. It's fiction. It's a story you tell yourself. And like any story, it can be rewritten. When doubt shows up and asks, what if you fail? I want you to stop and ask a different question. What if I succeed? It's easy to get caught up in the worst case scenarios, to picture all the ways things could go wrong. But why not flip the script? Why not imagine all the ways things could go right? Because here's the thing, both outcomes are just possibilities. Neither is guaranteed. The difference lies in what you choose to focus on. If you let doubt consume you, you'll never even try. And that guarantees one thing: failure. But if you focus on success, if you focus on what's possible, you'll find the courage to take the first step. And that's where everything begins. Doubt thrives on inaction. The longer you sit in your own head, replaying all the reasons something might not work, the more power you give to doubt. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You start believing you can't, and so you don't. But action is the antidote to doubt. The moment you take that first step, the moment you do something, anything, you break doubt's hold on you. You shift from thinking to doing, from worrying to achieving. But let's be real, taking that first step isn't always easy. Doubt likes to play tricks on you. It reminds you of every time you've fallen short. It pulls out the highlight reel of your failures, playing them on a loop in your mind. It tells you, see, you couldn't do it then. So what makes you think you can do it now? But here's what doubt doesn't tell you: your failures aren't proof that you're not good enough. They're proof that you're trying, that you're learning, that you're growing. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Every successful person you've ever admired has failed more times than they can count. The difference is they didn't let doubt stop them. They kept going, and so can you. Another thing doubt loves to do is compare you to others. It points out the person who seems to have it all together, who's further along than you, who makes it look easy. And it says, look at them. You'll never be like that. But let me tell you something: comparison is the thief of joy. The only person you should ever compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday, because this is your journey, not theirs. You don't know their struggles, their sacrifices, their sleepless nights. All you see is the highlight reel. So stop comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's finished product. Focus on your path, your progress, your growth. That's all that matters. And when doubt whispers, you're not ready, I want you to remind yourself of this: no one ever feels completely ready. Not the CEO launching their first company. Not the athlete stepping onto the field for the first time. Not the artist unveiling their work to the world. Readiness is a myth. Growth doesn't happen in comfort, it happens in action. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to start. Because starting creates momentum, and momentum creates confidence. And with confidence, doubt doesn't stand a chance. Doubt will also try to make you feel like you're alone, like you're the only one who struggles with it. But let me tell you something: everyone feels doubt. The most successful people in the world have moments where they question themselves, where they wonder if they're good enough. The difference is they don't let doubt win. They feel it, they acknowledge it, and then they move forward anyway. And that's exactly what you have to do. Here's a little secret about doubt: it doesn't actually know you. It doesn't know your resilience, your determination, your ability to rise after every fall. Doubt doesn't know the nights you stayed up working on your dreams, the sacrifices you've made, the fire that burns inside you. Doubt only knows the stories you feed it, so stop feeding it. Stop giving it power. Start telling yourself a different story, one where you succeed, where you overcome, where you prove every doubt wrong. The next time doubt shows up, don't argue with it. Don't try to silence it. Instead, let your actions speak. Take the first step. Make the call. Write the plan. Show up, even when it feels uncomfortable. Because doubt doesn't go away by thinking, it goes away by doing. And every time you take action, you're not just proving doubt wrong, you're proving to yourself that you can, that you're capable, that you're enough. Doubt is loud, but your belief in yourself can be louder. Trust that, believe that. And then watch what happens when you start living as if success is not just a possibility, but an inevitability. Because it is. And it starts with how you respond to that voice of doubt. The world is full of noise, opinions, judgments, unsolicited advice, and endless chatter. Everywhere you go, someone has something to say about how you should live your life, what choices you should make, and what path you should follow. It can be overwhelming, can it? Sometimes it feels like no matter what you do, someone has a criticism waiting, ready to remind you of what they think you're doing wrong. But here's the truth: other people's opinions are none of your business. They don't define you, they don't control you. And they certainly don't determine your worth. One of the greatest lessons you'll ever learn is this: not everyone will understand your journey, and that's okay. They don't have to. Your path is yours alone. The dreams you're chasing, the goals you've set, and the vision you have for your life, it's not for them to understand. It's for you to pursue. And yet, so many of us get caught up in seeking validation and trying to prove ourselves to people who don't even matter. We let their opinions dictate our actions, their judgments shape our decisions. But why? Why give that kind of power to someone else? Think about this for a moment. How often have you held yourself back because you were worried about what someone might think? How many opportunities have you missed because you feared judgment? How many times have you silenced your dreams because someone told you they were unrealistic? The truth is, you've probably done it more times than you'd like to admit. And for what? To gain the approval of people who might never see your value no matter what you do. Let me tell you something, living for the approval of others is a losing game. No matter how hard you try, you'll never please everyone. Someone will always have something negative to say. Someone will always think you should be doing things differently. That's just the way the world works. And if you spend your life chasing the approval of others, you'll never find peace. You'll always be at the mercy of their opinions, constantly bending and twisting yourself into someone you're not just to make them happy. But here's the thing, their happiness isn't your responsibility. Yours is. When you stop caring about what others think, you free yourself. You free yourself to take risks, to make mistakes, to learn, and to grow. You free yourself to live authentically, to follow your heart, to pursue your passions without fear of judgment. And that kind of freedom is priceless. It's the freedom to be unapologetically you, to stand tall in your truth, to own your choices without feeling the need to explain them to anyone. Now, this doesn't mean you won't hear criticism. Oh, you'll hear plenty of it. But here's the secret, not all criticism is bad. Some of it can help you grow, help you see things from a new perspective. The key is learning to separate constructive feedback from toxic negativity. Constructive feedback comes from a place of care. It's meant to help you improve. Toxic negativity, on the other hand, is meant to tear you down. It comes from people who are projecting their own insecurities onto you, people who can't stand to see you succeed because it reminds them of their own failures. You don't need to carry their baggage. That's not your burden to bear. So how do you stop letting other people's opinions control you? It starts with building a strong foundation of self-belief. When you truly believe in yourself, when you trust your instincts and value your own opinion above all else, the noise of the world begins to fade. You stop seeking validation from others because you've already given it to yourself. You stop needing their approval because you've learned to approve of yourself. And that's the most empowering thing you can do. Give yourself permission to live life on your own terms. Of course, this isn't easy. It takes practice. It takes courage. But every time you choose to prioritize your own voice over someone else's, you get stronger. Every time you make a decision based on what feels right for you, not what looks right to them, you build confidence. And confidence is a powerful shield. It protects you from the opinions that don't serve you. It reminds you that you're in control of your life, not them. Here's another thing to remember. Most people's opinions of you have nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. Their judgments are a reflection of their own fears, insecurities, and limitations. When someone tells you that you can't do something, it's often because they don't believe they could do it themselves. When someone criticizes your choices, it's usually because they're afraid to make bold choices in their own life. So don't take it personally. Their opinions are not your reality. At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, whose life are you living? Yours or theirs? Because you only get one. One life to pursue your dreams, to follow your passions, to create a legacy that's meaningful to you. Don't waste it trying to meet someone else's expectations. Don't waste it worrying about what they'll say or think. Because here's the truth, no matter what you do, people will talk. Let them. While they're busy talking, you'll be busy building, growing, and becoming everything you were meant to be. Your life is yours to live. Own it. Be proud of it. And most importantly, don't let anyone else's opinion dim the light that's within you. Shine brightly, boldly, and unapologetically, because the only opinion that truly matters is the one you have of yourself. The words you speak have extraordinary power. Every single word you utter is a seed that you plant, not just in the minds of others, but in your own. Those seeds grow into beliefs, habits, and realities. The question is, what are you planting? Are you speaking words that build you up, words that empower you and push you forward? Or are you speaking words that tear you down, words that hold you back and create barriers where there should be none? Most people don't even realize the power of their own voice. They go through life saying things like, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or this is just the way things are for me. They say these things casually without thinking twice, but those words are shaping their reality. They're creating limitations, building walls that didn't need to exist. And over time, those words become truth, not because they were true to begin with, but because they were spoken into existence. That's the power of language. It's not just descriptive, it's creative. If you've ever caught yourself saying, I'm not smart enough or I'll never be successful, let me tell you something, those words are lies. They are lies you've been conditioned to believe, lies you've accepted as truth. But you don't have to accept them anymore. You can challenge them. You can replace them. Because just as easily as words can tear you down, they can also build you up. And that's where your power lies, in choosing the words you speak about yourself. When you talk to yourself, what do you hear? Is it encouragement, support, confidence? Or is it criticism, doubt, and fear? Pay attention, because your self-talk is the loudest voice in your life. It's the voice you hear in the quiet moments, the one that follows you wherever you go. And that voice has the power to shape your identity. If it's constantly negative, constantly telling you what you can't do, who you're not, and why you'll never succeed, then it's time to change the conversation. Here's what you need to do. Speak to yourself as if you were speaking to someone you love. Imagine your best friend, your child, or someone you deeply care about coming to you and saying, I can't do this. I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. What would you say to them? Would you agree with them? Would you reinforce their fears? Of course not. You'd encourage them. You'd remind them of their strengths, their resilience, their potential. You'd lift them up. So why don't you do the same for yourself? Start replacing the negative with the positive. When you catch yourself saying, I can't stop, and reframe it. Say, I can't yet, but I'm learning. When you hear yourself thinking, I'll never be good at this, replace it with, I'm getting better every day. When you feel tempted to say, this is too hard, remind yourself, I've overcome challenges before, and I can do it again. These small shifts in language may seem insignificant, but they're not. They're transformative. Because the words you speak create the environment in which your mind operates. And when your mind is surrounded by positivity and possibility, it thrives. But let's take it one step further. Don't just speak positively about your present. Speak boldly about your future. Declare what you want. Declare who you're becoming. Say, I am capable of achieving my dreams. Say, I am growing stronger, smarter, and more resilient every day. Say, I am worthy of success, happiness, and love. These are not empty affirmations. They're statements of intent. They're declarations of the person you are choosing to become. And when you speak them with conviction, your mind starts to believe them. It starts to align with the reality you're creating. Of course, this doesn't mean you ignore challenges or pretend everything is perfect. Life will test you. Obstacles will arise. But even in the face of adversity, your words have power. Instead of saying, this is impossible, say, this is tough, but I'll find a way. Instead of saying, I'm stuck, say, I'm figuring this out. Your words can turn problems into opportunities, failures into lessons, and setbacks into comebacks. It's all about perspective, and your words are the lens through which you see the world. Remember, the world will try to define you. People will label you, judge you, and tell you who you are. But their words don't matter. The only words that truly matter are the ones you speak to yourself. So speak with intention. Speak with purpose. Speak as if you're the author of your own story, because you are. When you speak positively, you not only transform your own life, but also inspire those around you. Your words become a ripple, spreading confidence and hope to others. And as you lift yourself up, you create space for others to rise too. That's the beauty of speaking life into your world. It doesn't just benefit you, it benefits everyone you touch. So today, take control of your words. Choose them carefully. Speak to yourself with the love, respect, and encouragement you deserve, because your words are not just words, they're the blueprint for your future. Speak as the person you want to become, and watch as that person starts to emerge. You have the power. You always have. It starts with what you say. Let's talk about one of the most underestimated yet transformative acts: believing in yourself when nobody else does. This is not just about self-confidence. It's about resilience, courage, and an unwavering trust in your ability to rise no matter what. It's easy to believe in yourself when the world is cheering you on, when the applause is loud, and when support comes from every direction. But what happens when the noise fades, when doubt creeps in, and when the people you thought would stand by you don't? That's when the real test begins. Believing in yourself when no one else does is an act of defiance. It's standing tall in the face of skepticism, criticism, and even outright rejection. It's choosing to see potential where others see limitations. It's about understanding that your worth isn't tied to someone else's opinion of you. People might doubt you because they can't see what you see. They might question your dreams because they don't understand them. But here's the truth: they don't need to. Your dreams don't need their approval. Your potential doesn't need their validation. You see, the world is full of doubters. Some people doubt you because they've never dared to dream big themselves. Others doubt you because they failed in their own attempts and assume you will too. Some might even doubt you out of fear that your success will highlight their complacency. Whatever the reason, their doubts are not a reflection of your abilities, they're a reflection of their own limitations. And it's not your job to carry their limitations. Your only job is to carry your vision. When you're walking this path, there will be moments of loneliness. Moments when it feels like no one understands what you're trying to achieve. Moments when you question yourself, when you wonder if the doubters were right. Those moments will test you, but they'll also strengthen you. Because in those moments, you have a choice. You can either let their doubt define you, or you can let it fuel you. You can use it as a reason to stop, or you can use it as motivation to push harder, to prove to yourself, not to them, that you can do it. Believing in yourself isn't about arrogance or ignoring constructive feedback. It's about knowing your own heart, your own capabilities, and your own potential better than anyone else. It's about trusting that inner voice that says, you were made for more. That voice might be faint at first, drowned out by the noise of the world, but it's there. And the more you listen to it, the louder it gets. The more you trust it, the stronger it becomes. You have to be your own biggest cheerleader. You have to celebrate your small wins when no one else notices them. You have to keep going even when the road gets tough, even when the progress feels slow, even when it seems like the world is working against you. Because here's the thing, the world doesn't owe you understanding. It doesn't owe you applause. It doesn't owe you a pat on the back. But you owe it to yourself to keep moving forward, to keep believing, to keep striving. Think about the people who have changed the world, the people you admire. Do you think they were surrounded by support and encouragement every step of the way? Most of them weren't. They faced doubt, criticism, and resistance at every turn. But they believed in themselves anyway. They saw possibilities where others saw impossibilities. They stayed true to their vision even when no one else could see it. That's what sets them apart, and that's what will set you apart. This journey isn't just about achieving your goals, it's about becoming the kind of person who can achieve them. It's about building resilience, cultivating determination, and developing the kind of self-trust that can't be shaken by outside opinions. Every time you choose to believe in yourself despite the doubts of others, you're strengthening that trust. You're proving to yourself that you are capable, that you are worthy, that you are enough. And let's not forget this, every person who doubts you today might just be inspired by you tomorrow. The same people who question your dreams might one day look to you as proof that it's possible. But even if they don't, it doesn't matter. You're not doing this for them, you're doing this for you. Because at the end of the day, the only person who needs to believe in you is you. Your belief in yourself is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Without it, nothing else matters. With it, everything is possible. So when the voices of doubt get loud, whether they come from others or from within, choose to believe anyway. Stand firm in your vision. Trust the process. And remember, the journey may be lonely at times, but it's worth it. Because the day will come when you look back and realize that every step you took, every challenge you overcame, and every moment you chose to believe in yourself was leading you to something extraordinary. Keep believing, keep going. Your future self will thank you. Believe in yourself even when no one else does. Trust your vision, silence the doubts, and keep moving forward. Your belief is the foundation of your success, and it will lead you to the extraordinary life you are meant to create. Keep going, you've got this.